Thanks for listening to our daily Bible reading lesson. The lesson today is care enough to correct. The other day I made the mistake turning on the news, and of course, there were protests going on, violent protests, riots, drive-by shootings. Everywhere you look, you find just a total disregard for authority, a disregard for the property of others, a disregard for anything except people's own selfish desires. Well, I realize that, there are good people around, but there are those that just make things look terrible. And you think, how is that? How did it happen? Well, sometimes people just make terrible choices, even though they've been brought up right, even though they've been encouraged to do right. But yesterday in our reading, we found really the source of the problem in some of these and in maybe a lot of them. In Proverbs 29 and verse 17, the writer says, "Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. He shall give thee delight unto thy soul." In other words, God says that a proper upbringing, correcting, a guiding in the right way is something that will bring a rest. In other words, I'm not going to be troubled by what I see in those that I had opportunity to influence. I'm not going to be sad, helpless, hopeless, but rather the goal is to have delight unto my soul as I see the product of someone who has been trained rightly. Well, some people simply don't do that. We live in a society in which so many times people say you can't correct, you can't do this, you can't tell somebody they're wrong. But God still says, "Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest, he shall give thee delight unto thy soul." You look and you think, sometimes people kind of miss the whole emphasis of why. Why do we correct? Well, in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter, in verse 6, the writer tells us there, "Whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." In other words, God gives a pattern. Why is it that I would correct my children? Why is it I would correct anybody? Why is it that I would try to bring somebody out of sin? Why is it that I would sit there and tell somebody that is wrong? Well, if I follow God's pattern, it's because I love them. I want the best for them. I want them to be productive, beneficial, a part of a solution instead of part of a problem. But sadly, there's a lot of people who simply do not care enough to correct. Well, they have some kind of perverted view of love, concern, care. I love them too much to do it. No, if we love those who are around us and we have opportunity to correct, to bring them to the way, the narrow way that leads to eternal life, we'll do it because we care. If we go through life and we're blessed with somebody around who cares about us, they love us enough to correct us, to show us the true and living way. And imagine what it'd be if every one of us was that way. We'd be helping one another along the way that's good and right and proper. Sadly, there are some who don't do that. But you know what? I can't control what they do, but I can control what I do. And I pray that I will care enough to correct whenever I have that opportunity and that privilege, that obligation. What a great and wonderful thing it is when we do that. Thanks for listening. You have a great day. Care enough to correct. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.